Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay.
Okay, violence on television, effects on our children. We need to look more closely at this situation, get it under control, and so that our children grow up in a healthier psychological environment. I will show everyone what this is doing to our children psychologically and the steps we need to take to prevent this from happening. Extensive viewing of violence on TV by our children has been shown to cause greater aggressiveness. When children view shows where violence is very realistic, and it does not show any punishment for the act, they are more likely to imitate what they are seeing. According to research, children with emotional, behavioral, learning, and impulse control problems are more easily influenced by TV violence. Children are watching an average of 4 hours of television a day. Most of the time when you turn on the television, you get blasted with violent images like explosions, suicide bombings, and war casualties. And this is just from our local news. There's much more. Nowadays, shows in the family time slot of 7 to 8:30 p.m. are showing more and more violence than ever before. So let's look a little closer. We know that children watching violence on television is causing them to be more aggressive. One of the most well-known studies on this topic by Bandura, Ross, and Ross in 1963, researchers showed small children a video of an adult playing with an inflatable doll. The children witnessed the adult sit on the doll, punch it in the nose, hit it on the head with a mallet, and kick it repeatedly. They were then moved to a playroom that had the same doll and various other toys. The kids began imitating what they had seen on the video. In a complete supplies, they found new and creative ways to beat up the doll. They also played more aggressively with the other toys in the room. They weren't just imitating the aggression. Watching the aggressive examples generally caused them to play more aggressively. Let's look at some of the more recent research. Researchers at Ohio State, some new research has shown that it's become particularly more problematic when guns are involved. So researchers at the Ohio State University used 8 to 12-year-olds to show them a 20-minute video of a PG-rated film. They saw either Rocketeer or National Treasure. The two videos were edited. One contained characters using guns, the other contained characters not using guns. They were then moved to a room with toys like Legos, Nerf guns, and other games. Naturally, the children that watched the movie with the guns were playing more aggressively than the children that watched the movie with no guns. The study had a little twist to it. The playroom had a closed cabinet. In a drawer in the cabinet was a real .38 caliber gun. It was not loaded and was modified so the bullets wouldn't fire. It was also modified to track the number of times the trigger was pulled hard enough for it to go off. 83% of the kids found the gun and most played with it. Of the kids who found it, 27% took the gun to the experimenter who took it out of the room and removed it. The remaining 58% of the kids who found the gun, 42 played with it. One important note, the kids that saw the video with no guns never pulled the trigger. The kids who watched the movie with the gun pulled the trigger 2 to 3 times, some as many as 20 times. One child went to the window and pointed it at people walking down the street. Another child picked up the gun, pressed it to another child's temple, pulled the trigger. That's scary. So what did we learn? Can watching violent media cause children to be more aggressive? Hundreds of research projects are telling us very clear yes. Research has proved that if you don't want your children to be aggressive or violent, you need to keep them away from violence. We look closely at research on what watching violence does to our children psychologically. Based on research, we have seen the need that we need to monitor our children more closely, and that by monitoring them, we have a better attempt of them leading a non-aggressive life. By doing this, we are raising children that are mentally healthy, releasing them into a society where they're stronger, healthier adults. And then lastly, American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry is telling us, watch TV with your children. Don't let your child have a TV in their room. If something violent comes on, turn it off and explain to them why you're turning it off. Don't let them watch violent shows. And lastly, reassure them that when you will do your very best to make sure that they are safe. Thank you.
That was good.